Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, and today we're once again going to be talking about Endwalker because I finally got around to finishing the MSQ, and I wanted to talk with you guys about my overall impressions of the Endwalker experience, whether that is gameplay, dungeons, trials, and story, without actually diving into spoilers, because I understand that a lot of you guys still haven't been able to finish the MSQ. A lot of you guys have barely even been able to log into the game because of the brutal queues that are, in place right now due to the fact that there's just a lot of people wanting to play Endwalker. Hopefully those will alleviate over the next couple of weeks. Yoshi P was kind enough to provide us with 7 days of additional game time, and I think that at the rate things are going, he might be providing people with some more game time, which I think is pretty cool. But either way, you're pretty much safe here. The gameplay that I will be showing is going to be of the second area that you have access to and the very first dungeon, which have both been prominently featured throughout producer live letters, multiple trailers, content from the media tour. I don't really consider these to be spoilerish. I'm not really going to be checking out any story cutscenes throughout this gameplay footage or even doing any quest that is related to the MSQ. It's just side quests and the dungeon, and that's it. But even still, if you don't want to watch it and you want to go completely blind, feel free to minimize the window and just listen to the soothing sounds of my voice as we discuss what it's been like to play Endwalker. Now, as you guys know, last Thursday, the stuff happened. I don't want to get too in-depth with that, and that caused me not to stream the game, which has always been on the back of my mind. I gotta be real. Every time that I would play the game, I'd be like, man, is it too late? Can I still go back and start streaming and maybe explain the story up until the point where I'm at, and then just maybe stream from this point on? That was always in the back of my mind. And in a way, I'm actually glad that I played it without streaming, because streaming it would have been amazing. Obviously, I wasn't really going to be able to do it because of the strain that I put myself in. But I still wanted to do it, but not streaming it allowed me to play it in a much more chill environment, allowed me to really take my time. I believe I mentioned this in the previous video as well, but it just it cannot be understated how much I really enjoyed being able to take my time with it. And if you take anything from this video, is do not rush your experience at all. Really, really take your time with it, because it is very much worth it. So in terms of story, what I can tell you is that I greatly enjoyed the story. Do I think that the story is perfect? I'm not 100% sure if I feel that way or not, because I've even taken an additional 2 days to think about it, mull it over, because I finished the MSQ a couple of days ago, and I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about certain aspects of the story. The overall feeling is I loved it. I think it was amazing. I really liked it, but there are a couple of details here and there that I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this. I feel like I want to redo some of these cutscenes. I actually rewatched a lot of the cutscenes already as I was going through the story, because I wanted to get additional context into some of the things that were happening, and even get additional information by checking out different things that can take place in a couple of the cutscenes. And you guys will understand what I'm saying if you've played through it. But it's basically I really took my time soaking everything in, and I would say that there's certain aspects of the story where my opinion is not 100% formed, but the overall is that I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I've seen a lot of players talk about how it was everything that they've wanted and more. I've also seen several players talk about how they actually didn't like the story all that much. I've seen some comments of people saying that they preferred the story in Shadowbringers. I've seen one specific comment that was very detailed. I saw your comment, dude. And I appreciate you tagging it spoiler, by the way, so that I didn't read it before I actually finished the game. But, I understand why it may not resonate with everyone, but I'll tell you this, it definitely resonated with me. And one of the things that I can tell you is that the entire story arc of Final Fantasy XIV, of the Hydaelyn Zodiac story arc, or the Tale of the Star, or the Tale of the Ascians, whatever you want to call it, this arc that we have been through, right? Realm Reborn, Heavensward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, and culminating with Endwalker, that whole arc has been the best story that I've ever experienced in any piece of media. So that means books, movies, videos, other video games, podcasts, audiobooks, whatever. You name it. This to me was the best one. And I want to make one thing clear. I don't expect this to be the case for everyone. Because one of the things that I've been noticing over the last couple of years is that I just have a natural tendency to enjoy Japanese storytelling much more than like Western storytelling. And I don't know exactly why, but Japanese storytelling really resonates with me. I've noticed that with games like Xenoblade Chronicles, and other Japanese games that, you know, my mind right now is still a bit of a mess because I'm just constantly focused on 14. It's just like 14. My mind is still 14. Like I go to bed and I'm thinking about Final Fantasy 14. I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about Final Fantasy 14. It's crazy. It's obsessive in a way, right? It's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy obsession, I would almost say, because I've just been redonkulously addicted to it, and it's all that I can think about. But like I said, I don't expect this to be the case for everyone, and if it's not the case for you, that is fine. But one of the questions that I've gotten a lot was people telling me, so, do you think that it was better than Shadowbringers? I've had people ask me this in like my free company. I've had people ask me this on stream, people asking me this on comments and on Twitter. Was it better than Shadowbringers? Because people know that Shadowbringers is my favorite expansion of the previous ones. And this is a weird thing for me when it comes to Endwalker, because whereas I feel like with the story of Realm Reborn, Heaven's Word, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers, you can kind of like say, okay, so here's the story of Realm Reborn, right? It's this story, it sets up the foundation to the world, it still has like all the stuff that happens with the primals and whatnot. Then here's the story of Heaven's Word with the Dragon Song War and all the things that happen there, which again, you get these characters that come from Realm Reborn into Heaven's Word, and it makes them more meaningful. There's like a cumulative aspect to it where, you know, you become more and more attached to these characters that are going through the story with you. And, you know, the more you experience things with them, the more attached you get to them. But you can still say, no, here's the chapter of Heaven's Word. Here's the chapter of Stormblood. And again, relationships, interconnections, certain events get called back and all of that. Yes, tons of that. But again, you can still kind of segment the story almost in a way, right? Same thing for Shadowbringers. Here's the story of Shadowbringers. It takes place here, and these are the things you're supposed to do. With Endwalker, I personally can't look at it like that. And I know that that might be a weird thing to say, and I know that there might be some people that will disagree with me. It's whatever. This is just my opinion. It is what it is. It's worth what it's worth, whatever value you happen to assign to it. But Endwalker is the culmination of this whole story. It's like the climax of everything that this story has been building up to. And in my opinion, Endwalker, even though as a standalone, it's still a pretty good story, I feel like you will get a lot less out of Endwalker if you were to skip. So like, if you were to skip the Heaven's Word, like I feel like you'd get a fantastic story still. You're going to be missing out on a lot of things. Still get a fantastic story. If you skip the Stormblood, that's just a mistake. You should definitely not do that. If you skip to Shadowbringers, you still get that Shadowbringers story. You can still understand what is going on in Shadowbringers, even if you don't have the attachment to the characters. And you're still going to be missing on some things. But if you skip to Endwalker, I feel like a lot of the people that skip, because I know that it's going to happen. It always happens, right? People skip to the last one because they have this mentality like, no, I have to be in the last thing. I want to do the content that everybody's doing. I don't want to be doing the old content. I feel like the people that skip to Endwalker, they're going to complain of pacing. They're going to be like, oh my God, the pacing is terrible. Because the game spends a lot of time focusing on these characters that you've been playing with throughout all of these other story arcs, right? Like, if you're someone who's played through the whole thing, you know the characters. So you can appreciate the slower moments where they take the time to add more depth to these characters, where they take the time to explore the relationship between your character and the characters in the game. where essentially these characters almost become like your friends in a really weird way. Like, you begin to actually feel for these characters. I mean, I've been feeling for these characters for a long time, but like in Endwalker, they really turned that dial up to 11. It's insane. And if somebody skips and they don't know the depth of these characters, they're going to be like, why do I care about this? I don't care about some of the things that they are telling me. And they're not going to get it. And I think that will be the major complaint of people that skip. And that is one of the reasons why I can't like separate Endwalker from the rest of these stories. It's just, without A Realm Reborn, without Heavensward, without Stormblood, and without Shadowbringers, and all of the events that take place, and all of these stories, and, you know, all of these narratives, there isn't an Endwalker, in a way. Like I said, the story is still good, it's still fine. You'll mostly still be able to understand. They refer back to some events that already happened, but it just hits incredibly different if you have done all of these things prior to it. I cannot emphasize that enough. So like, if you're someone who's going through Realm Reborn or Heavensward or Stormblood, if you hit like that you know, low point of Stormblood, the very beginning, where it's kind of like slower and kind of a little bit more boring, and you're thinking about, oh man, I should just skip, I want to go to Endwalker, everybody's just like enjoying it and all that. The biggest thing that I can tell you is like, really take your time. Soak everything in. Enjoy it. Enjoy the storytelling. Enjoy the nuance of the characters. Enjoy the things that are happening, because it will increase your enjoyment of Endwalker by that much more. It's like, I personally cannot, I can't look at Endwalker as an isolated thing, because it brings so many things back. Like, there's even things that you might look back on in this game that maybe you've played through Realm Reborn or Heavensward or whatever, and there's things that you look back on and you think, okay, so these things are settled, like they're sorted. We've experienced these. This story arc is closed. Like, this is done. And Endwalker goes back there and it's like, no, there's more to this. There's more to this thing. And I'm going to bring it front and center, and I'm going to show you more details about this thing that you thought you knew, that you thought was solved, and I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to really elaborate on it, and it's special in the best ways. It is very special. So at the end of the day, if you were to ask me, so which one did you like better? Did you like Shadowbringers better? Did you like Endwalker better? I like them both. I can't, like, whereas previously I could tell you, oh, I like Shadowbringers more than Heavensward, for sure, 100%. When it comes to Endwalker, it just doesn't feel like it works the same way. And I can't explain it into words. Like, I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about it in the comment section, so feel free to sound off. Try to not put in any spoilers, because I want to keep this particular video spoiler-free so that people can enjoy it. You know, you get the idea. But like, I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about it, but that's the way that I feel about it. It's like, I wouldn't necessarily say that one is better than the other. I would say that one does not exist without the other. And I think that they're both phenomenal, and I cannot distinguish between them. I can't just like, at the point after you experience the entirety of the story, it almost kind of just like blends everything together. It just becomes, no, this is just this one story arc. It's just one thing. It's not about expansions anymore. It's just like this one thing. And to me, that's just how I feel about it. And I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Like I said, I will touch up on more details when eventually I'll make a video where I will discuss spoilers and stuff like that. But for now, this is what you get in terms of story. I can't recommend it enough. I can't recommend enough that you not skip to Endwalker. If you do, I hope you still enjoy it. I wish the best for everyone that wants to try it out. But, you know, that's just my idea and my thoughts on the story, and I think it's amazing. And, you know, after I make this video, because I haven't watched the opinions of anybody else, besides, you know, a couple of comments here and there and whatnot, I believe that Endwalker, I saw a news article yesterday that said that Endwalker is the most positively reviewed, user-reviewed video game in Metacritic, which Metacritic is worth whatever Metacritic is worth. I'm not the biggest fan of Metacritic, but when you're talking about the user score, that is something that I like, value, and I'm just like, yeah, I can see it. I can see it. But at the same time, again, I want to make sure that people understand it is that way because there's like a background to it. There's like something that people have gone through, and then it culminates in Endwalker. And I kind of feel like you're just not going to have the same reaction to it as me if you just skip to it. But anyways, that's enough of me like talking about skipping and all of that stuff. In terms of gameplay then, I really like what they've done with the Paladin class. Paladin class just... Jesus Christ, what a racket. I'm really sorry about the background noise, but I really like what they've done with the Paladin. Paladin feels super solid. It's Holy Sheltron's fantastic. Friggin' unlimited confetti or blade works is amazing. And I've only recently got to level 90, so I only recently got to start experimenting with that. I'm not even exactly sure what my rotation should be at this point. Still a little bit confused with that, but it just feels so good when you just see those blades coming out. It's like, bam, and another one, and another one, and another one, and it feels so good. And the fact that, like, our magical rotation now heals us feels amazing as well. It's just like, I don't know, Paladin just feels super solid personally. I don't know how it stacks up because I haven't really played almost any other class. I'm currently leveling up I'm gonna level up like all of my role jobs, which I actually swapped because, you know, I made the level 80 red mage, but I'm probably going to be doing summoner because summoner feels really fun, which is something that I was actually playing as I was recording B-roll for this video. Summoner feels really fun, and due to the fact that it also comes free with the Scholar, which, because people were memeing on Scholar being weak, I was just like, I'm gonna play Scholar just to prove you all wrong. And I'll tell you right now, I've only done like 1 or 2 dungeons with it, but Scholar feels friggin' fantastic as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know, people are just like, oh my god, Scholar's so bad. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Scholar feels great. Summoner feels great. So that's like 2 classes out of the way for the role quests, which feels really cool. I haven't done the role quests, by the way. I still have to go do those. It's just I've been so busy with all of the things that the game gives you to do. Like, I even started doing quests on my minor because I realized that, like, my, whatchamacallit, my retainer, one of my retainers is a minor, and I realized, oh crap, I can't actually level this up unless I level my minor. So I actually need to level my minor and go collect some stuff as well. So I have a ton of stuff to do in the game, and that's why I still haven't really dedicated the time to go and do the role quest. And I'm sorry about my voice here. It's not really going away. My voice is fine. It's just I got a little bit of phlegm, and it's annoying me. Anyway, sorry, completely tangent. This is like my 50th attempt at recording this video. I actually had like a full recorded video and decided to redo it for some reason, but yeah, I'm sorry about that. Anyways, gameplay feels solid. The dungeons, I really like the dungeons that they did. I wish that they had done more with the dungeons. I wish they've added harder dungeons. You know, some of the bosses at the dungeons do feel a little bit harder, but, you know, I still pretty much killed almost all of them in the first attempt, including the ones from the expert dungeons. Which, you know, it's just like the difficulty of dungeons has never been something to, you know, talk too much about. But, you know, they did put up the possibility that they might add something later down the line where we will get some harder dungeons, so we'll see if that is the case or not. The trials are really cool, very spectacle heavy. I haven't really mastered them yet. I've only done them once for the MSQ. I haven't done the extremes yet either. I want to get to those, but first I want to get like a static going or something, like I've always said. By the way, if you're in the Spriggan server and you want to join my FC, feel free to do so. If you're in the Chaos Data Center, feel free to send me a DM or something, and I'll be glad to like add you to a link shell or something, so that whenever I do go and try extremes, I'll call people in. But yeah, like my thoughts on Endwalker overall, I love what I've played of it. I think it's fantastic. I'm still playing it pretty much nonstop whenever I get a chance to, whenever I'm not locked down by the Mega Q boss. But yeah, it's just been a fantastic experience all around. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend that you don't skip. And yeah, I'll be talking more about it. I'm going to be, I also have plans to do some more guides. Like, people have been asking me to do like a controller guide. So I'm thinking about doing that, tell you guys the way that I play with controller for those of you that care. I personally prefer playing controller on Final Fantasy XIV. That's why my bar looks a little bit different than potentially what you would expect. And I might even do like eventually a Paladin guide once I master the rotation, the level 90 rotation a little bit better. But yeah, I'm looking forward to creating more content, doing like a spoiler video and all of that stuff. But for now, I'll leave you guys with this. Like I said, I am going to be taking it easy because of what happened last Thursday. But I still wanted to bring you guys a video and tell you guys my thoughts now that I've finished the MSQ. And have you finished the MSQ? Let me know how you felt about it in the comment section down below. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit it up with a like. If you did not enjoy it, hit it up with a dislike. Feedback is important. Although, I keep remembering, it's like, I always say this, but YouTube removed the dislike button, if essentially. Like, you can click the dislike. Nobody's going to see it. That's not my choice. Friggin' sucks, but, it is what it is. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong. Stay safe. Peace out.